Are we? Let's not. I'm going live. I'm live. I'm here now. I'm letting people come on Facebook. Listen. What is it that let's talk about finances. I think a lot of people right now maybe feel the house is about to burn down. You think some people out there feel like that? If you're out there and you're like, oh my God, financially, I don't know if I can withstand what seems to be about to occur. I know there are some people panicking regarding the stock market. I know that for certain. I don't know if you should be panicking regarding the stock market. I don't think now is a panic time for the stock market. Unless you're retiring like tomorrow and you've had a 10 or 20 point drop in your portfolio, then maybe you should be a bit concerned. I don't know about panic. Depends on the circumstance, but generally speaking. But if you're not retiring anytime soon, now is not the time to panic regarding the stock market. If you intend on investing, or if you're an investor in the market, people know this, that it all balances out in the end. See, if you just keep buying, the key here is to keep buying, to keep investing in the market is the key. How so? Well, because let's just say you had a portfolio of 100 yesterday, and you had a 10%, a general 10% ROI on your investment over the past 12 months. And now all of a sudden you see this dip, the market's dropped 10, 15, 20%. You're like, oh my God, I'm losing, I'm panicking. How far is the bottom? How far is this thing going to drop? Well, I don't know. It may drop a lot. But if you keep buying, what you're doing now is, although the stocks that you purchased 6 months ago or a few months ago, those took a 10, 20% dip, but you're also buying stocks at a lower cost. So you're going to lose on the ones that you purchased at a higher cost, but at the same time, you have an opportunity to offset those losses by purchasing stocks now at their bottom or near their bottom. Okay? So the key to overcome a dip in the market is to keep buying. That's the key. And it's a long-term gain. It's a long-term gain, people. So don't panic. Don't panic. All the people who stayed in the market in the 2008, 2009, if they stayed in the market, they would have recovered. And I don't know what the average return would have been for all of those people who stayed in the market. But the point is that they withstood the dip. So let's talk about your money. Let's talk to poor folk. Did I just offend anyone? Let's talk about the average person. I've been seeing that the average person doesn't have. Is it the average person? Doesn't have $400 as an emergency fund. So if you're in retail, and we can imagine that retail is about to get hit, because how many people are out? Who's thinking about shopping right now? Who woke up this morning and said, oh, you know what? I need to run to the mall to buy a new dress. I need some new shoes. No one. Because where are you going in this new dress? A lot of people are not going to work. They're working remotely. 50 congregations of 50 or more are shut down all across the country. So no one's going anywhere. No one's buying. Retail is about to take a hit. Most small business owners, just like the average individual, can't miss a paycheck. The average American cannot miss a paycheck. The average American is 1 or 2 paychecks away from abject poverty, from bankruptcy. Calm down. You know I'm not going to let you down, people. I'm telling you, I don't care, quote unquote, I care. Hear me out. I don't care if you're a paycheck or 2 paychecks away from not poverty, from bankruptcy. Which is kind of like, it ain't the same as poverty. Being broke and poverty to me are 2 different things. That's different. Poverty is like you're homeless, you can't eat. That's one thing. Can't pay your bills, that's something else. What I'm saying, we can overcome can't pay our bills. I promise you, I'm not going to let you down. The average American doesn't have $400 to meet an emergency. The average working person in America is 1 or 2 paychecks away from abject poverty. I mean, from bankruptcy. People, I'm telling you, the average small business owner cannot withstand a 30, 40, 50% dip in their sales. It may put them out of business. I'm telling you, I'm not going to let you down. I'm telling you, I'm taking you down because I'm going to build you back up. I'm telling you, you're going to be okay. I know you are. Despite what I just said, despite the statistics. Our seniors are living on Social Security, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month. Many with degenerative diseases. They won't miss their paycheck. Point is that there's a lot of financial pressure, coupled with healthcare concerns, coupled with panic. It's a lot to deal with. You got to have your head on straight. You got to dig in right now. Let me tell you a story. Now, let me bring you back up. I need everyone to listen to me. Some of you may have heard me say this before, but I think it's worth repeating, even for self. And this is what I do in moments like this. Sir, you can turn that. This is what I do in moments, just a bit. This is what I do in moments like this. First off, I need you to know that you'll be okay. Just relax. Seriously. Take a deep breath. Oftentimes what's happening is like we're panicking. We start thinking about stuff, and what you don't realize is that you're not breathing right now. So one of the first things I need you to do, or maybe the first thing I need you to do, is just stop and take a deep breath. Like breathe. Breathe. When I'm in the gym and I'm like working out with the trainer and we're boxing and I'm hitting the mitts, and he'll say, hey, breathe. People, you're not breathing, so stop and breathe. That's number one. Breathe. Clear your mind. Drink some water. It sounds silly. It sounds simple, but it's really profound. Breathe and drink some water. Start right there. Wake up in the morning, breathe, drink some water. Know that you're going to be okay. Breathe and know that you're going to be okay. And get present to it, like believe it. You got to believe that you're going to be okay. Okay, I'm breathing. And then I'm repeating to myself, I'll be okay. No, I'll be better than okay. Matter of fact, I'll be great. So sometimes, like if you see me and I'm saying nothing and you see me sort of shake my head like what I'm doing, I'm speaking to myself, I'm saying, well, I'll be great. And then I'm agreeing with self. So the story begins. What I say to you, and I'll get to some stuff, some real strategic information, some facts, if you will. Some practical information. But before I get there, we have to go through this. Bear with me 5 more minutes. So like what I tell myself is, I say, well, self, I want you to think back to a time that you were great. I'm speaking to you right now, but I'm speaking to self, and I want you to breathe. I want you to relax. Make sure you breathe in and inhale, exhale, take it in. And I'm saying, self, I want you to think back to a time that you were great. And this time that you were great, it could have been 1 week ago. It could have been several months ago. It could have been years ago. Or it could have been like me, because the first time that I recall me ever being great, I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I was great on that day. So now I want you to think back to a time, a moment in your life when you were great. And I was 4 or 5 years old in my greatness, the first time, my awareness. And I had a yellow Tonka truck. And I was outside playing in the mud. We lived in a 3-story building off 39th and Lake Park. I had to be 4, almost 5. And I had this yellow, and I had some army men, the G.I. Joe army men, the gray and black ones. And I was in the mud. And I remember there were 1 or 2 friends, and we were all playing. And I had this Tonka truck. And then I built mountains. And we had the hills and we had the barricades. And I remember having my men, and I was like lining the men up because we were at war. And in that moment, it was like life was perfect for me with my yellow Tonka truck and with my G.I. Joe men, and the fact that I had built a fortress and mountains, and we were playing war, and I was winning the war. In that moment, I was great. And everyone has a moment that they were great, where things were working for them, when they were in tune, where they felt like they could not be defeated. Everyone has had that moment. And so then when I have moments where I don't feel great, when I have moments of fear, like a lot of people may be experiencing right now, when I have moments of doubt, what then I do is I retreat to the moment when I was great. And then I pull forth the energy and the power from that moment. I transform it. I transfer it into this moment. And I say to myself, just like I was great then, I'm about to be great right now. So whatever it is that you need to summons, I'm saying that you have the ability to summons. Whatever source that you have to tap into, I'm saying tap into that source. Because in this moment, many people need to be their greatest selves. So start right there. Start right there and capture the conviction, the source of greatness that rests, in all of us. And once you have that, because if you don't have that, if you don't have the mental fortitude, if you don't have that, the psychological toolbox, if you're not mentally prepared for what it is, then the likelihood of your success is greatly diminished. So before we do anything, we have to get in the spirit of accomplishment. We have to get in the spirit of success. We have to get into the spirit of possibility. You got to believe it. They simply summed, it's just faith. It's faith backed up. It's backed up though. It's embedded in you. But sometimes we just don't know how to source it. It could be laying dormant. So I'm saying you have to know how to source your faith. However you may do it. So let's get to practical stuff. Let's start. I'm going to help you with your finances, the financial aspect of what's happening right now. I've been telling people to write it down. If you have a plan and your plan is not written, you don't have a plan. Or the plan that you have that's not written is a plan to fail. It's not a plan of success. So if you're walking around talking about, I have a plan, but you don't have your plan written, your plan is to fail. Any plan not written is a failure plan. The only plan that succeeds or has the possibility of success is a written plan. hear what I'm telling you. So first and foremost, I don't care. You can take out a sheet of paper. It does not have to be complex. I need you to start writing down what the plan is. I need you to Google budget. Because we need a budget. I posted on Facebook something very simple last week. I said, what percentage of your monthly gross household income goes toward your rent or your mortgage to include your utilities? Like, do you know that? You must know what percentage of your monthly household gross income. Monthly, we all know what that is. Household, that means if you have income and you have a spouse that has income, you add that together. That's household. So if your spouse has grosses $3,500 a month and you gross $4,000 a month, that's $7,500. So your monthly household gross income is $7,500. Now, if your monthly mortgage payment, rent payment plus utilities, so if your mortgage payment is $1,700 and then your utilities run about $700, that's $2,400. Did I get that right? Yes, that's $2,400. So in your household, your monthly gross household income is $7,500, and your household expenses, living expenses, mortgage, rent, is $2,400. What percentage is your rent / mortgage payment and utilities of your monthly household gross income? You need to know that. It should not be greater than 25%. If you're spending more than 25% on your mortgage, taxes, and utilities, and if you have a condominium, your homeowners association dues, if you're spending more than 25% of your rent or your mortgage payments, if you're spending more than 25% of your monthly household gross income for rent, mortgage, taxes, homeowners dues, and utilities, you're spending too much. You're out of budget. You're out of budget. A lot of people are spending 35-40% on their rent and on their mortgage payments. You're not going to make it that way. Calm down. Please Google budget. But most people, the largest expenditure is in our rent, our mortgage, our taxes, and our utilities. Please add that up and figure out what percentage of your mortgage, taxes, and insurance and homeowner association dues, what percentage of your monthly household gross income does that represent? Please know that number. Please. And for people who are doing well, if you're spending like 15%, if your mortgage, taxes, insurance, homeowners association dues, if you have them, is less than 15%, you're balling. Less than 20%, you're balling. Here's the other thing. Please know, and I don't have the percentage, but I'm just going to pull it. Like your car note, what's happening is that we spend too much on our mortgage, taxes, and insurance, and homeowners association dues. We're in the high 30s. We're in the mid to high 30s. Some of us are in the 40s. And then we're behind. So then we're behind in that regard, and then we double down on our problems, because then we go out and we buy a car, and then our car note is $500 or $600, and our monthly household gross income is only $7,500. So if you add together your mortgage, taxes, insurance, and homeowners association dues, if you have them, and you're already in the mid-30s, and then you throw a $500 a month car note on top of that, so now 45% of your monthly household gross income is eaten up by your living expenses and a car, and I have not even included fuel. So you're 50% in already. You can't save any money, people. And this is why the majority of Americans do not have $400 in an emergency fund. We spend too much. But see, we don't have a spending problem. What we have then is a math problem. I don't think you have a spending problem. I think you're afraid of math. Because if you sit down, you can figure this out in the matter of 20 or 30 minutes. I just gave you the formula. Tell me one person, please, who stopped right now as I'm speaking and came up with their formula, with their numbers rather, with their equation. So I just said, like, get a budget. Please get a budget. But a lot of people are thinking to themselves right now, Attorney Fenton, it's too late for a budget. I'm already in. I work in retail and I'm about to lose money. I'm an entrepreneur. My sales are about to decline 20, 30%. What good is a budget going to do me now? Well, a budget is a roadmap. If you don't have a budget for your household, that's like a pilot flying without any gauges or gadgets. That's like a captain of a ship operating or manning the ship, navigating the ship without a compass. That's like a teacher trying to teach her students without a curriculum. That's like me trying to be on a radio show without a microphone and a DJ. I'm telling you, people, if you don't have a budget, you are flying blind. I'm going to ask you one question. Would you get on a plane with the pilot who told you, everybody, welcome to I Don't Know Airlines. Welcome to I'm going to shoot for my hips airline. I know you want to get somewhere, and I'm going to do my best to get you as close as I can because all of my gauges that I typically rely upon are out of operation. So I'm just going to do this by feel. Really? Really? Would you trust a pilot to fly you somewhere by feel? But it's strange that we trust ourselves to fly our family and ourselves places like to goals and dreams and retirement by feel. No. So it will help to explain, in part, it would help to explain why so many of us struggle financially. We don't have a plan. If you do not have a written plan, like a budget, essentially the plan you have is a plan to fail. You can only have a winning plan if your plan is written. You must have a household budget. You must understand your numbers. The problem is not that people have issues with budgets. The problem is that or finances. What we have a problem with is math. They say, well, why is math important? I'm never going to use it in my life. Really? Really? That would explain so many of our lives. You should be utilizing math daily. I use math all the time. Stop with this nonsense. I'm never going to use it. Really? You're not? That would explain it. I use math all the time. What are your numbers? I'm going to say it one more time. What percentage, and I'm going to move on, what percentage of your monthly household gross income? So if you're married or you have two people in the household, you don't have to be married. You could be partners. It could be a brother and a sister living together. It could be you and your mother living together. You combine your incomes, that makes up the household. And everybody in the household who is working needs to contribute. So if you have children who are 25, 26, and they live in your household, their income should be included in the budget and they should be contributing to the household. That's a whole nother conversation, which would also help to explain why the average American household does not have $400 in an emergency fund. What percentage of your monthly household income is your mortgage, taxes, and insurance, and homeowners association dues if you have that? So this is what I need you to do. 1, find out what your monthly household gross income is. Gross is not net. Gross is before taxes. So if you look at the top number, the biggest number on your paycheck stub, find that number. If that number is $4,000, that's your monthly household gross income. If you have a partner or a spouse or a mother or a brother who lives or resides with you and their monthly household gross income is $3,000, then that's $7,000. Your monthly household gross income is $7,000. Now figure out, next, figure out how much you're spending on your mortgage, with your taxes, and in your insurance, and your homeowners association dues. So essentially, what is your mortgage payment if your mortgage payment includes escrow for taxes and insurance? If that number is $1,700, that's your number. So it'd be $1,700 divided by your gross income, and that's your percentage. Is it 20%? Is it 25%? Is it 30%? Well, let me tell you this. If it's 30% or more, you're in trouble and we need to make some adjustments on your budget. If it's less than 25%, you're probably doing very good. If you're above 25% and you have a $500, $600, $700 car note, you were doing good and then you put yourself in trouble. You can't be 25, 30% and have a $500, $600 car note. Not the average person. You can't do it. It's not going to work. I'm about to tell you something very uncomfortable, then I promise you I'm going to help you more. I'm not just going to, people like, oh my God, Attorney Fenton, this is too much. We're already stressed. You know, sometimes in moments like this, you need to hear the truth. Problem is, we're not prepared for the truth. See, emergencies don't happen at the time of the emergency. This financial crisis that we're about to experience, most likely, this financial crisis did not become a crisis last week. Your financial shortfall, your panic with respect to your finances didn't happen last week when the stock market began to decline. See, your crisis becomes a crisis when times are good, not when times are bad. People create their experience with the crisis when times are good, not when times are bad. See, because when times are good, you're supposed to be preparing for the crisis. And if you didn't prepare for the crisis when the times were good, when the crisis occurs, then you're not being harmed by what happened today. You're harmed by what you didn't do yesterday. I hate to tell you that. But we've got to be honest with one another. So don't get to talking about, oh, someone needs to help me and I don't have enough money. I'm saying, I promise you, I'm with you. We're going to get to that. But what I'm saying is that, like, you knew this was coming. Come on. I've been taught, how often do I come on air and tell everybody to get prepared? Is that not all I do? I'm sorry. Is that not all I do? You've got to be prepared. And so if you weren't prepared, that's okay. We're going to help you through it. It's okay. It's all right. So let me get to some real stuff. Let me help you prepare. Let me help you get through this. I've given you that part. Let me help you through it. So this is the first thing. If you're not prepared, if you can't take this downturn in the next 2 weeks, month, 2 months, 3 months, if you cannot withstand it financially, I just want you to know that you'll be all right. It's number one. But this is what I want you to do. One, I want you to write down what your bills are. Write down who you owe. And write down how much you owe them. And it does not have to be perfect. That's the other thing. That's the other mistake we make. We wait around until everything is perfect. I don't wait for perfection. I just work toward perfection. I didn't walk into the studio perfect today. I don't have a set of notes. I don't have what I'm going to say written out in perfect form. I don't have all of those things. I just write a couple little points down and then I take it from there. I don't wait for perfection. I just work toward perfection. That's all I do. So write down who you owe. And here's the thing. I need you to segment who you owe. We need to prioritize. So first, write down who you owe. This is what my mother told me. She said, boy, I may not have a lot of money. She said, we may not have a lot of money. But she said, I can bet you one thing, that you'll always have a roof over your head. So priority number one, my mother taught me this at a very early age. She said, boy, I will make certain that you always have a roof over your head. So if you have children, the first and highest priority that you have, quote unquote, is to make certain that your mortgage is paid. You cannot pay everybody else. My mother said, you might come in here and the lights may be off. Yep. Yeah. She said, we may not have a whole bunch of food. We had beans and greens, though, every day. I wonder why we ate beans and greens every day. She said, you might come in here and the lights may be off. We may have to light the hallways with candles. But I guarantee you one thing, you're going to have a roof over your head. So priority number one, people, make sure your mortgage is paid. This is the mistake that so many people make. They don't understand their priorities. So guess who the priority is, DJ? Let me tell you who the priority is for poor folk. Here's the priority for poor folk. The priority for poor folk is the first person who gets them on the phone and makes them feel uncomfortable about, you owe me some money. So it could be a credit card payment. It could be a car note. So if you pick up the phone and Charter One or Chase is on the phone, and they say, Miss Johnson, you owe us some money. You owe us $75. Okay, let me see. I'll put a check in the mail tomorrow. Let me tell you this. Don't you let anybody determine what your priorities are with respect to your bills. I don't care if it's a credit card company. I don't care if it's student loans. I don't care if it's a car note. I don't care if it's your neighbor next door. The first and highest priority you have, especially if you have children, is to make certain that your mortgage is paid. You don't pay anybody until you pay your mortgage. That's it. I don't let anybody pressure me over getting paid. In fact, I may have enough money to pay all my creditors 4 times over, but I won't even pay them until I pay my mortgage, because psychologically for me, until I pay my mortgage, ain't nobody else getting paid. Period. That's the mistake poor folk make. Poor folk pay people based on emotions because they don't want to be embarrassed. Because I fell $300 behind on my credit card payment. I don't care if you're $300 behind on your credit card payment. I don't care if you're 6 months behind on your credit card payments. The first and highest priority that we have is to pay our mortgage. Because my mother told me early on, she said, boy, we may not have a lot of money. We may not have a lot of food in the refrigerator or in the cabinets, but I promise you one thing. You're going to always have a roof over your head. And I didn't understand what she was talking about until recently. So don't you get emotional and start paying bills emotionally. I need you to pay your bills strategically. We get so caught up in numbers and things that don't matter in our lives, like our credit score. Your credit score ain't going to matter. I promise you, when you get foreclosed on, your credit score ain't going to matter. I promise you it's not. So you must have a budget, and then you have to write it down, because you don't have a budget, nor do you have a plan if it is not written. If you have a plan that is not written, what you then have is a plan to fail. That's what you've done. You plan to fail. Once you write your budget down, then you need to prioritize. You need to decide who's most important. And you don't pay anybody else until you pay the most important person. Period. End of the conversation. So if that means you need to fall behind on your credit card bills and or your student loans and or an unsecured creditor, then you fall behind and get out of your emotions. And if you have a problem with that, then you call me and I'll help you through it. Because I have no problems with it. I've been there. Been there. And it's okay. It's okay. Now, I'm about to take this conversation up one more level. They're like, one more level? Attorney, are you taking it up another level? Yes, I'm taking it up another level. I need you to look ahead. I need you to get out of every 2 weeks you get a paycheck. I need you to be bigger than that. I need you to be great like I was when I was 4 or 5 years old. I need you to summons up your greatness. And I need you to look ahead a little bit. I need you to have a little bit more foresight. And I need you to look into next month. And I need you to ask yourself in the next 30, 60, 90 days, because we don't know when this cloud is going to be lifted. I need you to look ahead in the next 60 or 90 days, and I need you to be honest with yourself. Here's the other part. I need you to be honest. And here's the other part. I need you to have some accountability, and that's why I'm always preaching partnership and spouses and teams. Because if it's just you, if I'm just relying upon you to write your budget down and then be honest and then to prioritize and strategize and then to go ahead and follow your plan, most likely you're going to do what they say. You're going to backslide. You're going to go off plan. You're going to cheat a little bit. So we need some accountability. If you have a spouse, I need you to tell the spouse they need to be at the table. If you have adult children, I need you to pull the adult children to the table. If you have a mother or father you can trust, I need you to pull them to the table. A friend who's a stickler who won't let you cheat, I need you to pull your friend to the table. What I'm saying is that we need some accountability in this process. Critical accountability. Stop with the I'll do it myself. No, you won't. Because if you were going to do it yourself, you would have done it 5 years ago. If you were going to do it yourself, you would have done it 3 years ago. You haven't done it yourself. None of us, very few of us will do it ourselves. You must have accountability. If you have no one, call me. Because I'll hold you accountable. Oh, yes, I do. That's big. So now that we have this plan, and then I want you to forecast out 30, 60, 90 days. And I want you to be honest. We need accountability for honesty. And then I want you to think this. If everything remains the same, or if my income drops 20, 30, 40%, will I have enough money next month to pay my priority bills? People, this is the next level. I've been here. I've done this. Here's the next level. If you can't honestly say, if you cannot without 90% or greater certainty say that you will be able to pay your priority creditors in the next 60, 90 days, and the only priority creditor I've mentioned right now is a roof over your head. If you can't say in the next 60, 90 days, I will be able to pay my priority creditors with the income I anticipate having or the income that I have or won't have, however you look at it, then you need to make a decision. People, this is controversial, but you need to stop paying people now if you can't do that. I know that's controversial. See, what good is it if we create a budget, we set our priorities, and we pay our priority first this month, and then maybe we get halfway through next month, and then we figure out we can't pay our creditors anyway, and so the money that we spent on non-essential creditors could have been used to our essential creditors next month or 60 days from now, and now we don't have the money for our essential creditors 60 days from now or 90 days from now because we didn't look forward. You all understand what I'm trying to tell you. So if you're not certain that you can pay your essential creditor for the next 60, 90 days, then you need to go ahead. You need to bunker down right now. There's something called a strategic default. Rich people strategically default. The government, quote unquote, strategically defaults. Major corporations, they strategically default. They don't wait until they're broke to stop paying people. They stop paying people while they have money. Poor people. Middle class people, I'm sorry, but somebody's got to tell you. They may take me off air. I may disappear. I know the government's coming for me because they're like, who is this guy telling us the middle class and poor people not to pay folk? I'm telling you, that's what they do. If you're going to go down, please go down with some essentials. Go down with some cash. Don't spend all your money trying to pay everybody, because at some point you won't be able to pay everybody. So I need you to stop right now if you don't know for certain with the 90% or greater certainty that you'll be able to meet all of your obligations in the next 60 to 90 days. If you're self-employed, if you're in retail, if you're in the service business, if you own a restaurant, people who are about to get hit really hard, I need you to come up with a plan. Now here's the deal. Well, Attorney Fenton, how about my credit? Well, how about a roof over your head? How about we can bump your credit 100, 200 points in a matter of months? We can rebuild your credit. How about that? Would you rather have a 50 point or 100 point higher credit score, or would you rather have $5,000? I don't know. You tell me. Which one will make you sleep better at night? All right. I'm sorry. Yes, share the video. I got you. Share the video. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. So here's the deal. Why can't we have it all? Oh my God, what is he talking about right now? I'm telling you, why don't you just take it all? Why don't you have it all? Why can't you save your money? Why can you not pay creditors? And why can't you still keep your credit score? Why can't poor and middle class people have it all? Because rich folk have it all. The banks made record-breaking profits, and they get bailouts from the government, and they stay paid, and they stay on vacations, and they recover, and they keep going on. They have it all. Why can't middle class people have it all too? I want it all. Okay, Attorney Fenton. How do I get it all? First off, I'm saying don't spend all your money. If you have a little money left over, save some, please. Because a little cash in your pocket, it just helps you think better. Fine, I'll take the 30-day late. But I'm keeping my $3,000 because I can sleep much better with $3,000 in my pocket than I can with a 50-point lower credit score. I promise you I can. I don't know about you. If you're guided by that, then I don't know what to say about you. I'm not letting any outside external influences dictate how I feel or my emotions. A score cannot define me and my value. I won't allow it. But I know what $3,000 can do for me. That I know for sure. That I know. I can buy food with that. I can put gas in my car with that. I can pay my mortgage with that. So stop with how about your credit score? Don't get me wrong, there's a place for it. But sometimes at some point you gotta quote unquote give something up. And if I give anything up, I'm not giving up my cash. I'll give up my credit score before I give up my cash. Because if I have cash, what do I need a credit score for? And if I have a plan and a strategy, then what do I need? I'm not buying a new car. I already have a house. I don't want a new house. I'm sorry. I'm too much. Am I too much? Share the video. So here's how you can have it all possibly. This is what I need you to do. Get on the phone and call your mortgage company and tell your mortgage company that you're experiencing a financial downturn and that you've been hurt and that your monthly household gross income, you don't have to say all of that your monthly household income has declined because of what's going on, because of the scare. And then ask them, can you skip 1 or 2 mortgage payments? Ask them to forbear or to give you a forbearance on your mortgage payment. And this is what I want you to do. I don't want you to go and take that money and then pay non-essential bills. Don't take that money and go and pay a credit card, because there's no such thing as creditor's prison, people. You're not going to go to jail if you fall behind on your credit card bills. Stop that. Stop that. Okay, you've already made the mistake. You blew up the credit card. But don't double down on your mistake and take essential cash that needs to be preserved for health care, for housing, and pay it on credit cards. Don't do that. Call your mortgage company and ask them, say, listen, I need some help. I need to miss 1 or 2 mortgage payments. Start right there. But you don't spend that money. You save that money. And now you can think a little bit better. And then I need you to call every credit card company that you have. And I need you to say, listen, I need you to cut my payment. I need to not pay a payment. I need you to give me or provide me a forbearance for the next 6 months. They're going to be like, 6 months? Are you crazy? Have you been listening to Attorney Fenton? We're not giving anybody 6 months. They'll say, but we'll give you 1 or 2. So you call every creditor that you have and you ask them for a 3, 4, 5, 6 month forbearance. And get a forbearance on those credit cards. And get a forbearance on your mortgage payment right now. And then create your budget and put a little cash to the side. And sit the family down and talk about what the plan is. And if you're self-employed, you need to figure out how you're going to shift. And if your hours have been cut at work, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to supplement that income. Same with the car note. Call the car note. Yes, your creditor of the bank with your car note, they will give you a month or 2. Typically, they'll give you 1 month every 12-month period to skip a car note. Did you know that? Typically, you will receive 1 month every 12-month period to skip a car note. If you need that now, take it now. Call everybody and tell them you need a break. Student loans, if you're paying your daughter's or your son's student loan payments, take a forbearance. What I don't want you to do is make the mistake a lot of people made in 2008 and 2009. They panicked because they were concerned about their credit score. They were concerned. They allowed the phone calls to get to them. A non-essential 3rd level priority creditor calls you on the phone for whatever reason. You answer the phone and they're on the other line. Miss Johnson, you owe us $300. If you don't pay us our $300, we're going to file a lawsuit. Let me talk about that lawsuit. Yeah, you go ahead and you file that lawsuit, not just against me, Miss Johnson, but against the other 1 million people who are also behind. Don't get me wrong. At some point, they may file a lawsuit, but it won't be tomorrow. It won't be 60, 90 days from now either. So don't you get taken by that phone call. Don't you let them influence you and throw you off your plan. You don't let anyone else dictate what your financial plan is. That's key. And if you have any questions, you can call me. 708-991-7268. It's 708-991-7268. Think back to a time that you were great. Figure out a budget. The budget must be written. Have some accountability. Come up with a strategy. Don't allow emotions to dictate your strategy. Stick to your plan. Know that you'll be okay. Practice your faith. Fenton life. Share the video.